I am a college male in my first semester of freshman year at a state university. Less than half an hour ago, I was coming back from breakfast when another student who I've never met before started following me. Maybe 25-30 feet behind me. Far enough away as not to be in general vicinity, so I thought nothing of it. I get to the entrance doors of my dorm and swipe my keycard. The dorms are protected by a scanner, allowing me to access the building. As a quick disclaimer, my back has been bothering me the last week or so. I could barely get the door open for me to get through without a spike of pain shooting up my spine. The only reason I was up and at 'em today was because a midterm was due. I would have held the door for the guy, but it hurt to even hold it open, and he was quite a ways away and was unlikely to speed up, so I didn't want to be in pain for that long. Dick move, I know, and evidently he thought so too, because as I let it shut behind me, I could see in the window onto my right his reflection, his head lurching forward and his eyes widening in a "Really? You really just did that, you arsehole" kind of look. I sighed and got ready to apologize as he came in behind me, still moving down the hall because I needed to get back to my room to pack for class. He came in and didn't say a word, at which I thought, fair enough, but I did notice that he was picking up his pace. The way the entry hallway of our building is set up, there's the entry doors at either side which feed into the lobby where there is doors on the left to the RA's office, the right to the dorm lounge and the stairs straight ahead. I head toward the stairs straight ahead, expecting to hear the door to the lounge being perhaps somewhat angrily jerked open, but nope. These faster footsteps are coming with me up the stairs. I was at the landing halfway up the stairs. I live on the second floor when he got to the stairs. I saw that he was skipping 2 or 3 stairs at a time, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw he was looking at me, glaring even. I decided to pick up my pace a little. As I got to the top of the stairs and made a left to get to the door to my hall, he, almost at the top of the stairs, said in a rather confrontational tone, "Hey pal, wanna talk for a minute?" Between the embarrassment, the aggression to his movements and anger in his voice, and of course the pain in my back slowing me down to more of a speed limp than anything, I quickly muttered a "sorry" and made sure to get on the other side of that door as soon as possible. He wasn't taking it, as when I began to speed walk down my hall, the pain be damned, back to my room, I heard that door slam open behind me. It was one of those ones that had the press bar to open, and I could tell he'd angrily shoved it. I basically went to a full run and heard him shout, "Hey bro, come back. I just want to teach you some manners." Thank fuck I'd had that head start on him, because I managed to get to my room, unlock the door, get in and slam it just as he got to it. I relocked the door and held my weight against it, just to be safe, as he pounded on it with his fist and yelled, "Come on man, I just want to teach you some manners, you fat fucking prick. I thought we were bros, man. What? You just want to fucking hide in there?" Our hallway was used to people being rowdy and obnoxious and loud at all hours, because I guess that's who they let into honours these days. Not to mention most of them were at class anyway. So nobody came into the hall to call this guy on his bullshit. I threatened to call campus PD or the RAs to haul this guy away, and I think he got the message, because I can't hear him out there anymore, nor can I see him through the peephole. What concerns me is that he lives in our dorm, because our security keycards only work on the building we live in, and he knows where my room is. I had something really scary happen to me when I was around 18 years old in the early 1990s. I was really into cars back then, and I liked working on my own cars even though I am a girl. I had a 1979 Z28 Camaro with T-tops, and in the summer, I would go cruising around with my friends looking for something to do. One evening, while driving up and down the main street in a neighborhood city, I noticed a small red truck following us at a distance. I was with my friend Jenny, and I mentioned to her that I thought this truck could be following us. I pulled into the driveway of a fast food restaurant and noticed that the truck pulled into the restaurant 3 driveways back. I drove out in the other direction, and he did the same. Again, I pulled into another driveway, and the truck pulled in 3 driveways behind. I did this several times, and the truck kept following, always staying about 3 driveways back. Jenny and I decided that we should just head towards home, which was about 30 minutes away. We thought that the driver of the truck would just give up and let us go, but he did not. He just kept following. It was now getting very late, and we were beginning to worry as the truck had now been following us for about an hour. We did not want to go home and have him follow us there, so I decided that the best thing to do would be to drive to the nearest police station. I told Jenny what I planned on doing, and to my horror, she grabbed the steering wheel and pulled it, causing the car to veer sharply right. "What the hell are you doing?" I screamed at her. "You're going to make us crash." It was bad enough that I had to worry about the truck following us, but now I had to worry about my passenger freaking out and causing us to have an accident. "No, we can't go to the police," she insisted. It occurred to me right there and then that somehow she thought this was our fault. That somehow, just by cruising around, she thought we had done something to provoke this. I reluctantly drove away from the police station. We approached the bridge and we stopped by the red light on a one-way street. The truck was directly behind a car that was next to us. The car turned right, allowing the truck to pull forward. I looked over, and to my horror, this guy had stepped out of the truck and was standing next to the passenger side of my car, with no pants on, and he was masturbating. This guy didn't have his pants down around his ankles. As a matter of fact, he had none on at all. I had the disturbing feeling that he probably didn't have any this entire time he was following us. I hit the gas pedal and ran the red light going over the bridge. Somehow, my friend didn't see what that guy had been doing just outside of her window. When I told her, she kept saying, "No way!" And I'm thinking, how the hell did you not see that? I asked her this in disbelief. It occurred to us that this guy would likely rape us if he had the chance. I drove up and down a few one-way streets and back over the bridge and out into the country. He followed us for what seemed like forever until we were able to finally lose him going really fast out into the middle of nowhere. We went home and tried to forget about it all. For some reason, I never told my parents, and I don't really know why. A few weeks later, I saw on the news that the police were looking for a guy in a small red truck. He was apparently wanted for rape. They showed his picture and it did resemble the guy that had followed us. I thought that their description of the truck was a little different than one we had seen, but maybe not. I always wondered if it was him. I'm just glad that we never had to find out. Before I tell my story, let me set the scene. It was the summer of 1996 and I was 15 years old. I grew up in a good neighborhood in a typical Swedish university town with my dad. I was a pretty well-behaved kid, did good in school, didn't smoke or drink. In fact, I didn't even want to go to parties. I didn't have a boyfriend, but I had a crush on a boy at school and I felt pretty sure he was curious about me too, but we were both shy people. It was a very hot summer though, and all the popular girls would wear white tight tops to show off a flat tummy, and one day I had bought one for myself, just to try and see what it was to be a normal teenage girl. I had those silly shoes too, the Spice Girls inspired ones that sprained many ankles during that era. Afterwards, I wondered if the outfit is what started it all. Suddenly, I started to get notes. These were placed in the basket of my bicycle. Notes with messages such as, "Like your style, baby," and "Growing into a woman before my eyes." I didn't tell anyone. I strongly suspected the idiot gang at school, and I thought they were teasing me for changing my style. To show them that I didn't care, I wore my new style all the damn time. One morning, I noticed that someone had stepped on the flowers in the flower beds under several of our windows, and I told my dad about it. He worried it was someone checking the place out, planning a break-in, and asked me to turn on the alarm whenever I was alone. Things had gone missing before, insignificant things, but still, you never know. My dad owned a rather successful small business, and to celebrate the 10-year mark, he wanted to treat his employees to a weekend away and had booked a place up north in Kurani. I was used to being left alone at home. Sometimes his work demanded that he travel for a week or so, and it wasn't a problem. Again, I was a good kid. And to be honest, only a few houses down the street lived a couple that we knew, and they usually checked in on me if I was alone for many days. They had no kids of their own and often helped out with everyone else's. It was on the Saturday that it happened. I arrived home very late on my bicycle after having watched Cutthroat Island at a friend's place. I walked in the front door and noticed the draft. Had I forgotten to close the window before I left? Then I noticed that the alarm was turned off. Had I forgotten that too? I walked through the house to the living room when suddenly Mr. W, the man from down the street, stood in front of me. "Hey there, kiddo. Did I scare you? I just came to check in on you." I found this strange since it was well past 1 a.m. and he smelled of alcohol. "I'm fine. I'm off to bed now," I said, and got the strangest feeling. Despite being a hot summer night, I was shaking with cold. Something inside of me told me that this was an extremely dangerous situation. Something about him was off. As if he was wearing a mask, as if someone else was behind his eyes, not the friendly Mr. W that I had known my entire life. "Wine?" he said, and nodded in the direction of a wine bottle. I shook my head no. "I don't drink. My dad, you know," I said, and tried to sound normal, but my voice didn't feel like my own. "Oh, you're almost a grown woman now. You can do as you wish," he continued, pouring wine into an unwashed glass. "I've been watching you. You have really grown." He kept telling me how beautiful I had become and how he had noticed my new clothes and that I surely knew that it was an open invitation to men. "I'm a nice person, don't you think?" he said. "I'll be good to you. You can trust me. I will be real gentle." I start to back towards the front door, but he stops me by grabbing hold of my upper arm and pulling me towards him. "Don't be like that. No one likes a tease," he says. And when I try to break free, he laughs and goes, "Wanna play, huh?" "I can play," and starts to shake me. I feel how much stronger he was than I, and I realize that I have to make him let go long enough for me to run. At this point, it is as if someone else hijacked my brain, and I started saying and doing things that I wasn't even aware of until afterwards. "Yeah, I like to play," I hear myself say, and he smiles and starts to touch my hair. He dragged me off to the bedroom, and I tried to pretend to be into it. I had never had sex or even truly wanted to have sex, and I had no idea how to fake it. But I tried. The moment he tossed me down on the bed, I said, "You must go unlock the front door and turn on the alarm," as I tried to look eager and not scared out of my mind. "Okay," he said, "don't move." I was on my feet faster than I thought possible and locked the bedroom door from the inside. My plan had, however, not turned out as I had hoped. He had taken me to my dad's bedroom, not my bedroom. My bedroom had a window that led out on the roof of the garage, and from there I could have jumped. But this room had no such escape. But it had a phone. My brain had forgotten the number to the police, and the only number I remembered was my dad's work phone. He answered almost right away. My dad phoned the cops from his other phone, and I still had him on the line while Mr. W tried to open the lock with a screwdriver, shouting at me and promising to cut me like a fish when he got in. My dad also phoned another neighbour, Mr. K, who used to be in the military and often bragged about how he would treat any burglar to a trip to the emergency room if given the chance. Mr. K arrived before the police and he didn't break his promise. But the sound of the fighting outside the room was terrible and I had no idea who was on the winning side. Mr. K was an older guy but fit, whereas Mr. W had a weapon. I don't think I dared to breathe until Mr. K asked me if I was okay. And I didn't dare get out of that room before the police arrived, and even then I was almost unable to move, as if my mind had escaped my body. A man whom I had known for my entire life had suddenly started to stalk me and planned to use the fact that my dad was out of town to rape me and God knows what else. I trusted him, and I had been so wrong. I still have trust issues today. I spoke to his wife once, long after the incident. She had filed for divorce and she told me that the reason she refused to have children with him was that deep down she feared that they would not have been safe in their home.